Right.
Just a couple of issues. I'd like to thank Tameside and Glossop PCT who have actually funded the meeting today and the food and drink. We couldn't have done that without them. And I'd also like to thank Horton Thornley Medical Centre Patient Participation Group who've been very instrumental in setting this whole meeting up. Just a couple of housekeeping. You mentioned the mobile phones. Exits, you all know, just straight through the door. The surgery is actually open at the moment, so surgery is running, so you will be able to get out the door if you need to. You'll know toilets are on the right as you come out. There are no alarm drills today, so if you hear the alarm going off, that probably means we need to exit. Just in terms of the itinerary, Yvonne Bennett's obviously started, she's going to be chairing the meeting, and I'm going to mention a couple of things in a moment. We're then going to have Yvonne talking about how she accesses her medical records and what she's been doing with that. We're then going to have Sheila Caldicott, who's going to give an interesting story as a mother, how she's enabled one of her children to access her records and the issues around that. We've then got Margaret Rickson, who's going to talk about how she became an empowered patient, and most importantly, how you can too. I'm then going to talk a little bit about the practice website and how it helps patients to get the best out of the practice. We've then got Dr. Richard Fitton, who's going to be a little bit late, hopefully arriving around 7:30ish, and he's going to be talking about why should we record and look at data more, and what safeguards do we need to be able to do that. And then, as I say, the final bit, last 40 minutes, is a bit of a discussion around what can we do, how we're doing well, what can we do differently, what can we do to try and improve things, and get more people signed up for it. I'm just going to start with this. This was done by the Picker Institute, and what they did was they're quite keen on looking at patient-centred care. And they got some patients together and they started to ask what were the attributes of an organisation that's trying to deliver patient-centred care. And these were the 8 dimensions that they thought were important. When you hear these talked in a moment, I'd like to think about some of these things. Respecting the patient's values, preferences and expressed needs. Informing and educating the patients about their treatment. Patients' access to care. Emotional support to relieve fear and anxiety. Involvement of family and friends. Continuous and secure transition between healthcare settings. That's, say, between general practice and the hospital, or general practice and a community clinic or whatever. Physical comfort and the coordination of care. And I believe there are 4 critical factors for success in enabling all of this. First and foremost is you, the patients and the public. This is about you. This isn't about doctors and nurses and things. I'm not doing this talk for doctors, I'm doing it for patients and the public, because I believe that's the #1 critical factor. We now in the healthcare service need to think about what the patient's needs are and not what the doctor's needs are, or the nurse's needs, or the hospital's needs. That's the first one. Second. The third, partnership of trust. What's that about? Well, when you come and see me as a doctor, you're expecting me to provide you with an understanding of what medicine offers, what the options are, and what we can do for you inside the NHS. Of course, when you come to me, you're an expert in terms of how that condition is affecting you. So if you've come to me with knee pain or back pain or whatever it might be, something that's troubling you, you'll know how that back pain affected your wife last night because you couldn't sleep. You'll know how you couldn't go on holiday up the mountain because everyone else wanted to go, but your knee pain was actually preventing you from going up that hill. You're an expert on how that condition is affecting you. Now bring those 2 worlds together, bring those 2 experts together. If you trust me to tell you what medicine offers, and I trust you to tell me how this condition is affecting you, and the 2 of us come together, we get a shared understanding of a way forwards, what we're going to do about it, how we're going to do things, what things you want me to do, what things I want you to do, and we get this partnership of trust between clinician and patient. That's when sparks fly. So that's the third aspect, a partnership of trust between clinician and patient. And the fourth is that evolution, that new revolution I'm talking about. I believe there's a paradigm shift taking place. There's a completely new way of delivering healthcare. The basis of that is the fact that we now have the internet. We now have, which is everywhere and available to everybody. Some of you will have it at home. If you don't have it at home, you can go to the community centre, you can go to the library, you can access the internet through that. We've got healthcare systems, our electronic systems we used to write on paper They've now become electronic, so we're recording everything electronically. Thirdly, we've got a system that allows you, the patient, to be able to access that medical record electronically. Fourthly, generally people have a lot more of an understanding of what doctors do. Why is that? Well, that's because of things like Casualty, ER, all those magazines that you read, newspapers, the news items. You know, that voodoo that doctors used to do, you know, it's can I have a CBC please, doctor, because they've heard it on the television or whatever it might be. It's not quite as foreign as it used to be. Generally speaking, people are a lot more aware of their health and a lot more aware. It's that knowledge. We're living in the information age now. The internet, the newspapers and everything else, TV, you know, people are a lot more aware of their surroundings. The consequence of that is that we're now in a situation where we can actually offer patients the ability to access their information, and it might start to mean something.